I hit the water with a terrific crack. Luckily, I didn't hit anything when I dropped in. There were bodies all over the place.
The algorithm scanned, enhanced, and sharpened. Millions of pixels in a century-old Titanic photograph were being reconstructed by a powerful Google AI. Suddenly, it flagged an anomaly, a face in a crowd that defied all records. When researchers cross-referenced the image with the ship's official manifest, they found nothing.
And that collision was 10 minutes to 12, and the Titanic sank at 20 past 2. So if we had had enough lifeboats, no one would have died that night.
This wasn't just a restored photo, it was a ghost in the machine. A ghost that suggests the Titanic's maiden voyage held a secret far deeper and more sinister than an iceberg. Experts who analyzed the discovery were left visibly shaken by what this phantom passenger could mean for history. Secrets in the Silver Halide. For more than a century, the Titanic has been more than a shipwreck. It's a legend, a cautionary tale whispered across generations. Its story has been pieced together from survivor accounts, deep-sea expeditions, and a collection of haunting black and white photographs. These images have become relics, frozen moments of luxury, hope, and impending doom. We've looked at them, studied them, and thought they had given up all their secrets. It's funny when you think about it how we assumed there was nothing left to find, but we were looking with human eyes limited by time and decay. Now, advanced artificial intelligence is looking and it's seeing things that have been hidden in plain sight all along. This isn't just about making old photos look new, it's about forensic analysis on a level never before possible. Think about the iceberg that doomed the ship. For years, the only evidence of its appearance came from survivor sketches and a single grainy photograph taken by a passing ship captain 2 days before the disaster. Captain W. Wood of the SS Etonian snapped a picture of a uniquely shaped iceberg, noting its coordinates were eerily close to the Titanic's last known position. For decades, it was just a compelling theory, but when modern AI analyzed the photograph, it confirmed a near-perfect match to the sketches. The algorithm measured its shape, its contours, and even patterns on its surface, revealing with chilling accuracy that this was almost certainly the very block of ice that sealed the fate of over 1,500 people. It's one thing to believe it, it's another to have a machine prove it. This same technology is rewriting the human stories aboard the ship. Take the heartbreaking photo of 6-year-old Robert Douglas Spedden playing with a spinning top on the first-class deck. It was taken just days before the sinking. In the original, he's just a boy in a coat. But with AI enhancement, you can see the fine weave of that coat, the polished wood of the deck reflecting the sky, and the determined look on his young face. Robert survived the sinking after his nurse told him they were just going to see the stars. Tragically, he passed away just 3 years later in one of America's first ever automobile accidents. The AI brings his final happy moments into such sharp focus it feels like you're standing right there with him. But it's not just the sweet moments the AI is uncovering, it's also revealing the fatal flaws. Construction photos of the Titanic show its massive hull held together by over 3 million iron and steel rivets. Up close, AI-enhanced images show tiny, almost invisible micro-cracks and imperfections in some of the rivet heads, flaws that were later found in wreckage recovered from the ocean floor. Get this, some historians now believe these low-quality rivets, especially in the front part of the ship, are the real reason the hull failed so spectacularly. The iceberg didn't just punch a hole, it popped the seams like a zipper. The unsinkable ship may have been built with a hidden weakness. Even more shocking is the theory that a coal bunker fire had been raging for days before the ship even set sail. Using AI thermal imaging on old photos of the hull, researchers found faint heat distortion along one specific section, the exact spot where the iceberg struck. The fire could have weakened the steel, turning a survivable collision into a catastrophic failure. The fate of the ship might have been sealed before it ever left the port. This powerful AI is combing through every single photo, revealing lost details, a menu card in the ship's kitchen listing the last meal ever served, the faint logo on a ball being chased by children on deck, the title of a book left open in the first-class lounge. Each discovery adds a new layer to the story. But one photograph, taken on the day the Titanic was launched in Belfast, held a secret so profound it would make all these other discoveries seem trivial. A detail that a new Google AI algorithm flagged as an impossible anomaly. The AI wasn't just sharpening details, it was looking for what didn't belong. A glitch in history. The photograph itself is famous among Titanic enthusiasts. It was taken on May 31, 1911, the day the massive hull of the Titanic was launched into the River Lagan in Belfast. Over 100,000 people gathered to watch the spectacle. It was a chaotic, celebratory scene. For a century, the photo was just that, a snapshot of a crowd, their faces blurred by distance and the limitations of old camera technology. It was the perfect place to hide. The image was fed into a specialized Google AI program, one designed not just to enhance, but to identify and cross-reference every individual it could find against historical records. The goal was to see if any shipbuilders, White Star Line officials, or future crew members could be spotted in the crowd. The AI began its work, sharpening faces, defining features, and running them through a massive database of known Titanic personnel and passengers. It found a few low-level workers, some local dignitaries. Standard stuff. But then it flagged one man. He was standing near the docks, slightly apart from the cheering families. He was tall, dressed in a dark coat that seemed too heavy for a spring day, and he wasn't looking at the ship. He was looking directly at the camera. What's wild is that his face was unnaturally clear, almost as if he belonged to a different era. The AI sharpened his features, sharp jawline, deep-set eyes, and a grim, unsmiling expression. He looked completely out of place. The research team, led by a digital historian named Dr. Legina, assumed it was a glitch. They ran the analysis again. The same man appeared, his features even more defined this time. The AI assigned him a unique identifier and began its cross-reference. This is where things took a turn for the bizarre. The AI searched through every available record, the full passenger manifest for the maiden voyage, the entire crew roster, the employee files of the Harland and Wolff shipyard, census data from Belfast, and even immigration records from Queenstown, Cherbourg, and New York. The result came back in seconds: 0 matches. According to over a century of meticulously kept records, this man did not exist. It was at this moment that the experts began to feel a chill. A senior historian who had dedicated 40 years of his life to studying the Titanic leaned closer to the screen. Dr. Legina initiated a deeper scan, this time instructing the AI to compare the man's face to images from other historical events. The minutes ticked by in silence. Then a new notification popped up on the screen. The AI had found a potential match, but it wasn't from 1911. The image it found was from a photograph taken 3 days before the Titanic sank at its final port of call in Queenstown, Ireland. In the background of a photo of passengers boarding the tenders to reach the great liner, there he was again. The same tall man, the same dark coat, the same intense stare. He was on the dock, watching people board the ship he was never recorded as being on. This is when the experts went pale. It wasn't just a man who wasn't in the records, it was a man who seemed to be shadowing the Titanic itself. Who was this phantom? A stowaway is one thing, but to appear at both the launch and the final boarding yet leave no trace behind. It was impossible. Dr. Legina ordered one last analysis, a spectral analysis of the original photo negative itself. She wanted to know if the figure was a photographic anomaly, a double exposure, or something added later. The results that came back made everyone in the room take a step back from the screen. The report was simple. The man was part of the original exposure. He was there. The question was no longer if he was real, but why his existence was a complete secret. The man in the dark coat. The discovery of the impossible man, as the team began calling him, opened a Pandora's box of unsettling possibilities. Suddenly, old theories that were once dismissed as conspiracy had to be looked at again with fresh eyes. The team's thinking shifted from a historical mystery to something more like a criminal investigation. Who was this man and what was he doing there? His deliberate presence at 2 key moments in the Titanic's short life couldn't be a coincidence. The fact that he was staring at the camera in both photos suggested he wasn't afraid of being seen, which is even stranger. It's almost like he wanted to be found, but only by eyes that could see a century into the future. The first and most explosive theory the team explored was sabotage. Remember that coal bunker fire? The one the AI thermal scan picked up? Journalist Sinan Maloney has long argued that the fire significantly weakened the ship's hull, making the Iceberg's impact far more devastating. The fire was known to have been burning out of control for days, reaching temperatures of over 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit. Steel becomes brittle when exposed to that kind of heat. What if the fire wasn't an accident? The engine room and the coal bunkers were a maze of passages, accessible to crew but also potentially to someone who knew their way around a ship. Dr. Gina and her team started digging into the shipyard records again, looking for any reports of disgruntled workers, labor disputes, or known agitators from that period in Belfast. Could this man have been a worker who intentionally started the fire as an act of revenge or industrial sabotage, never intending for it to lead to such a catastrophe? It would explain his presence at the launch. He was there to see the ship he had already secretly damaged set off. It would also explain his presence at Queenstown, perhaps to board the ship and ensure the fire was still burning, or simply to watch his handiwork set off on its final doomed journey. If true, it would mean the Titanic disaster wasn't just an accident born of hubris in nature. It would be a case of mass endangerment caused by one single unknown man. Another theory was that he was a spy. In the early 1900s, the competition between shipping lines, Britain's White Star Line and Cunard Line and Germany's Hamburg America Line, was incredibly fierce. The Titanic was a marvel of engineering, and its design secrets were worth a fortune. The man could have been an industrial spy who had infiltrated the shipyard to gather intelligence. This would explain his undocumented presence. Maybe he boarded as a stowaway to continue his mission, documenting the ship's performance and layout on its maiden voyage. The dark coat could have been used to conceal tools or a camera. While this theory doesn't directly link him to the sinking, it paints a picture of a ship whose security was compromised from the very beginning. It makes you wonder what other secrets might have slipped aboard along with this mysterious figure. The team even looked into a wilder idea. Was he connected to one of the high-profile passengers? Perhaps he was a private detective hired to watch someone on board. Or maybe he was involved in something far darker, connected to the immense wealth present in the first-class suites. There were fortunes in jewels, cash, and bonds on that ship. The possibilities were dizzying. The only certainty was that this man's existence completely changes the narrative. He introduces an unknown variable, a human element of mystery and potential malice, into a story we thought was all about ice and steel. A 110-year-old mystery blown wide open by a machine that can see through time. This discovery proves that the past is never truly past. If one photo can hold a secret this big, what else have we missed? Like and subscribe for more mysteries uncovered.